Patty Davison. She's going to read a declaration, a proclamation declaring today North Oconee River Greenway Day in Athens.
And it says, whereas the North Oconee River has been the lifeline of this community since before the founding of the University of Georgia and the city of Athens, and continues to provide fresh water and wastewater treatment for Athens-Clarke County. And whereas on about the same day and near this very site in 1773, America's first naturalist, William Bartram, first observed the Oconee, that beautiful river, where two major Cherokee Indian trails crossed it at Cedar Shoals. And whereas a few years later, Daniel easily settled near here and built a grist mill, the first of many industries to be located in this valley, such that Athens soon became known as the Manchester of the South. And whereas during the time the town, industry, and the university have become world famous, the river became neglected and polluted.
This was a project conceived and pursued by volunteer citizens. So was Sandy Creek Nature Center. We are deeply indebted to those folks who took on these projects and stuck with them, even though when the going got rough. The citizen volunteer is critical, and it's the community activist who can do the necessary research, find and apply for the grants, push the local government leaders to think boldly, coerce the business community to support the project, and convince the urban planner that the Greenway really is worth the risk to include it in the community master plan.
And of course Sandy Creek came up because Alma wanted me to help save it. And I'll never forget, she pounded on the desk, "We've got to save that swamp." And I said, "Why?" Oh, you know Alma, she was upset when I said, "Why?" Well, I was honest, I didn't have a use for swamps. I didn't like swamps. And especially southern swamps, you know, because they were nasty. And had insects and spiders and the snakes, all kind of good stuff in there. Anyway, that's how I got started. And I got the job with the consultant with the engineers to walk the entire route, all 26 miles of it, and look for rare and endangered plants or other things that would be a big loss if we lost them through the sewer. I didn't find any rare and endangered plants, but I found, I think it was about 30-some trees that were over 30 inches diameter, which did not need to come out. That's why I changed the plans for that. So I did lose some fear of and dislike of that. I discovered that they're pretty in their own way. You know, I just didn't think many people liked swamps, but I assumed it was going to be called the Sandy Creek Greenway Trail. I mean, we've been calling it right along. I had no idea, absolutely no idea they were going to call it this trail.
When I first started teaching outdoor recreation, park management, and those courses, I would go to meetings of the Georgia Recreation Park Association. One of the things that hit us early on is that we had very few parks, and they were mostly active ballpark kinds of parks. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that you need some of the others too. Some of the places you just walk and sit and read and enjoy. So we feel we've come a long way from where we were then.
Al is the one that recruited me to be on the Greenway Commission because I represented someone from the design and development side of things, and I think they wanted somebody that had a different perspective on the Greenway. And also, I think it was felt that maybe I could help build support from a different segment of the community. And so after I was in there for I think 2 years, then Al was ready to step down, and they were looking for a new chairman, and I was it.
Just like Walt and just like Al, my background is forestry. And so much more used to hugging trees to figure out how big they are for the amount of timber that's in them than because they're so nice. So this was a bit different for me, although I certainly embraced the idea of Greenway maintaining green space. I mean, that was some of the things that I would watch out for when I was on the Planning Commission, looking at natural aspects, zoning requests and subdivision requests and that sort of thing. And I had done a lot of hiking and camping and so forth and so on. So it was an interest. I mean, he didn't have to twist my arm too hard to get on the commission.
I don't remember much about my term in office except that it was a very frustrating experience. With no funds other than for printing and postage, we could do little more than talk about what we would do if we had money. But we kept hope alive.
The very first money was called ICE-T. This is Service Transportation Enhancement Act. And we put in, and the university put in at the same time for money to put a greenway. And that seemed to strike a bell with the DOT people, state DOT people, because both were funded, both the university portion and our portion, the city's portion, were funded. It was $300 and some thousand, required a match, and the city was happy. The city's pretty good about matching money when, if they know they're going to be able to get some money coming in. So that was the first step.
We went into a room with DOT officials, and we were talking to them about what we wanted to do, and we knew the DOT was all about cars and traffic, but this was something new, and we knew those funds were available, and they were really very discouraging. They said, well, you know, you're going to have to do a historic study along there. We said, yes, we already know that. And they said, well, you've got to deal with wetlands. And we said, yes, we know that. So it went on and on like this for a while, and we told them we're prepared to do all of that. We'll get surveys done, we'll have it properly designed, everything. And finally, they just kind of gave up and said, well, okay. So it was very interesting going through that process, but the good news, we got awarded the grant.
But we still didn't have a comprehensive plan to move forward with this. We had this idea, and we had some money, we had some more money, and then on the basis of this more money, this was the SPLOST 4 project, we were able to hire Rob Fisher to do a comprehensive concept plan for the North Oconee River. And I really got involved then at that point in working with Rob Fisher to basically sell this to the public. We had public meetings and hearings, finally then sold it to the county commission, that this was what we were going to wanted, and this is how we wanted to build it.
I've been interested in this ever since, I guess I first was introduced to the Greenway through a class that I was teaching, and I was bringing them down here and had Dick give a talk to them, and that was about 1999 or thereabouts, 2000. And ever since then, I've just, been involved with it very heavily, and it's a terrific idea, and it's one that I want to continue into the future. And as the new chair, I think that I have some ideas that will be really useful to propose, and these include things like having the river itself become a part of the trail or become an aspect of the trail, to have canoe access points, takeout points, and put in points along the rivers, both the Middle and the North Oconee rivers, because the more people that you bring to the river, the more is going to happen with the river and with protecting the riparian forests and so forth. The idea is to get people there, whether on foot, on bicycle, or on the water itself.
I've been waiting for this day for a long time, as you might imagine. And the real people that made this happen, I'm going to start and end with that, and that's you, the citizens of Athens-Clarke County. First, though, the Greenway Commission is a citizens group. They really deserve the highest recognition for this project because they stuck with it the longest. But especially past members, Charlie Agar, who gave us the inspiration and initial guidance, Walt Cook for demonstrating that it could be done through Cook's Trail, Joe Burnett, who came up with the idea for the Heritage Trail, Al Ike, who orchestrated the funding. It wasn't other people. That was Al behind us doing that. And then all the rest of us for keeping that dream alive and moving forward. Next, I want to thank the Unified Government of Athens-Clarke County for approving, building, and then managing this project and its eventual application throughout the county. It's the third mayor and the third manager with whom we work whose names are going to be on that plaque over there.
Dreams do come true, and this is a long-time dream of a lot of you who are standing here and some who are not standing here with us today. This started a long time ago, and the small group of folks who dreamed this have nourished and fueled this dream for a very long time, and they knew that there was potential for this river to do more and to be something better than it was 30 years ago. This river is our lifeblood. So I want to express my gratitude, especially to that very first core group that got this started, and then for all the rest of you that have come into this dream and brought each of your own unique gifts to it, so that individually and collectively you have created something much larger than any of you could have done all by yourselves. And that really is the most and finest expression of community.
Now, I can't close without mentioning a few people who were critical to this project and to the success. I have to start with Charlie Agar, who unfortunately is not with us today. But it was Charlie's idea. He started it. He got enthusiasm worked up, and what you see today is largely the product of his thinking and his enthusiasm.
And all along, this is really what we've been doing, is trying to capitalize and make those dreams of Charlie Agar's come true.
And I hope I am, is to make things better for the next generation. I think I've been involved in things that help make the next generation better. Not necessarily easier, but at least better. Improve cities or environment.